Oh my goodness.
What did I think of that?
10 years. Somehow that's long enough for trends to come back, your favorite TV show to become classic television, and for everyone to collectively realize maybe we should have been nicer to our backs. But it's also long enough to build something that actually lasts. Hello, and welcome to the EngErotics live stream. I am Jackie Mick, your emotional support chaos goblin for today, and today we're celebrating EngErotics turning 10 years old. We're looking back at where we started, everything that's changed over the last decade, and somehow realizing that Stranger Things and this company have been around for the exact same amount of time. And honestly, that feels fake. Let's get into it. So, as always, I'm joined by the leadership team behind EngErotics, and I'm going to ask everybody the same question, and it's going to be awkward because it always is. Raven, our founder and CEO, if you could go back and tell your 2016 self one thing, what would you tell her?
I would have told her to bring a party hat for the occasion. I don't know why I didn't. I've got all that kind of stuff in my basement. I've got streamers and stuff. But yeah, that's one thing. No, seriously though, what would I, if I could go back and tell my 2016 self something, I would have told her to quit her corporate job sooner.
Girl,
I would have said quit sooner. Don't wait, quit sooner. For real.
Hard agree with that one. Heather Barr, our COO and formulation specialist. What about you? If you could go back and tell your 2016 self one thing, what would you tell her?
Buckle up.
No
been a wild ride.
No additional information, just buckle up.
Pretty much. Because everything, as soon as we figure out something, we think things are going right, things change. And so you have to be adaptable. You have to be able to pivot quickly. And man, the last 10 years, it's been one major change after another, mostly really good changes, some really significant challenges though. So yeah, buckle up.
Valid. And then we have Amanda Moser, our sexologist and CBD researcher. What would you tell your 2016 self?
In 2016, I was still an undergraduate college student, only studying human sexuality, have not dabbled in the cannabis research yet. And I would love to go back and tell her that it's all going to work out. You're going to get out of North Carolina. You're going to make it to Denver. You're going to somehow do the largest study on cannabis and sex. And it's going to be great. And it's going to be all right. And I know that's hard to say now because I would love to say that now to my future self. But looking back, it's going to be really good.
I love that. And I'm Jackie, our CMO, and like I said, the emotional support chaos goblin. And personally, I would tell myself to go to therapy because I think if I would have done it earlier, my brain would be in a much better place now. And it's already like in a vastly better place than it was before, but still. Yay, earlier therapy.
I do support therapy.
Yes. And just a friendly reminder from me to everyone out there listening, time is a scam. It's all made up. 10 years really means nothing in the grand scheme of things, but it also means everything to us right now.
Yeah. Like 10 years seems pretty significant right now, but at the same time, it went by in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just like, is this real? Is it happening? Maybe it's not actually happening. I don't know.
So, for those of us who are here at the very beginning, what inspired EngErotics initially? Like, how did it come to be for people who do not know the story?
Okay, that's me. I was here at the very beginning because I'm the founder, so I founded it. But if I'm being honest, Heather was here at the very beginning too, but she was not yet part of the company. Heather, you were in the private Facebook group, the EngErotics community. And I don't know how you found your way in there, but the EngErotics community used to be a different group. And it was from my days of being in direct sales and doing pleasure parties. Y'all know It's like the pure romances of the world and things like that. But what inspired the company? Really, it was like I was pissed off. I was pissed off and I was really jaded. I was really disillusioned with my corporate career at the time, because climbing the corporate ladder as a Black lady structural engineer ain't no joke. And, when you become a mom, like, the world of engineering, corporate world in a lot of ways as a whole, just not friendly to moms, not friendly to women, Black women, gay people, like pick your minority. So I wasn't really pleased with that. And I was working in oil and gas at the time. I was having a really difficult time with my boss, who was a white man who seemed to just want to be in a pissing competition that I didn't ask to be in. That was irritating. On the direct sales side, MLM, whatever you want to call it, but the pleasure party side, I was disillusioned with that too, because there was such a lack of representation in the marketing, and I didn't find the education to be really legit. Meaning, yes, we're talking about products and what goes where and how to use them and have a grand old time, but I found that we weren't talking about safe materials, porosity, absorbency. We certainly weren't talking about, kink and BDSM in a healthy way. I mean, it was a lot of these companies were very pro 50 Shades of Grey and, selling the tie and but not really taking the time to hey, here's how you educate your clients about proper BDSM, things like that. So really disillusioned with that as well. And also quality. There was a quality issue with some of the products I was offering. All of that to say, I was just, I could do it better myself. I could do it better myself. Maybe I should start my own thing. Didn't know what that thing was. Didn't know what that thing was. But I was really just kind of jaded, disillusioned, pissed off. I'm not getting what I need over here. I'm not getting what I need over here. Not really happy. I could do it better myself. And here's the thing, being a corporate structural engineer in oil and gas, it's a lot of money, golden handcuffs are a real thing. So it's I took a big step back, because let me tell you something. If y'all think you're just going to wake up and start a company and be making 85, 90, 100, 150, whatever, pick your salary, you are not. Hang it up. You will not. So yeah, that's what it is. I just, I woke up one day and I'm like, man, I'm really unhappy. Really unhappy. And I think I could do this better. I think I could do my professional life better. I think I could do engineering better. I think I could do pleasure products better. I think I could do life better. So, and I was a new mom, and I'm like, I ain't got time for the
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to be a mom and your time, not all of it being yours. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And yeah, I'm still in that boat. It's still got a little ways to go, but yeah, that's basically what it was. There were just a lot of gaps, there were a lot of gaps in the pleasure party, sex toy party thing that I was noticing. And a lot of the marketing was very heteronormative, cisgendered, white.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't very inclusive. It wasn't really marketing that really spoke to me. It just wasn't doing its thing. And the education could have been a lot better. There's just so many things. But yeah, basically just finding the gaps and filling them, finding the gaps in my own life and finding a way of filling those.
What was the very first product that EngErotics released?
Okay, so the first thing I wanted to say was vibe number 5. That's not true. That's not true. So the first product that EngErotics ever released was a set of novelty table bells. And if you were here in the very beginning, you might remember them. Heather, do you remember them?
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
And one of them said ring for wine and the other said ring for sex. And I sold them as a pair. Now, of course, I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea, and you don't know what you don't know. What a lot of people don't know about EngErotics is that we started on Amazon. And, Heather, Jackie, maybe Amanda, as you know, like we had a conversation or two or three about, oh man, this is a brilliant brand. Put it on Amazon. And I'm like, absolutely the hell not. Absolutely not. Because we actually started there. I was like, that's going to be such a good thing for what I'm trying to do. Amazon is vast. Its reach is vast. We're going to reach all kinds of people. And you know what? No lies detected. All of that was true. We started there. I was like, we're going to be an Amazon store. But in order to offer intimacy devices on Amazon, you've got to prove yourself, and you have to have I think it was 50 sales, 100 sales, whatever. And I'm like, well, what the hell am I supposed to sell? I already know what I want to sell. And here's the thing, Vibe number 5 had already been was already on the way to being manufactured. So I already had money in that bucket. And then I realized, oh, I can't just throw these on here. No, I had to find something else to sell so that we would be eligible for the sexual wellness category. So I sourced these table bells, sold them as a pair, and we sold those like gangbusters. But yeah, the novelty table bells, I wish I had a picture. I should have gotten some old pictures.
Were they the red bells with the black handle?
No, they're at a hotel desk, ding ding ding. You put it with
okay.
Yeah, they're those.
Okay.
So, think your hotel desk, concierge desk. You go and you ring for service. That was the ring for service bell, except
Fun.
we're ringing for wine. We're ringing for sex. That's what it is. But yeah, I sold them as a pair, I think for $12, and we sold 20, and then we sold 30, and then we sold 50. And then after we were allowed in the sexual wellness category, we kept selling the bells. And so then we were selling Vibe number 5, which was technically the second product, but also EngErotics' first intimacy device. But we sold that along with the table bells on Amazon until I decided we weren't going to be an Amazon store anymore.
I think we still have a few of those bells in stock, actually.
Oh, do we? Do we have some?
I think we've got a couple tucked away. Just a couple.
Amazing.
We should throw them up on the website and sell them as a 10th anniversary thing. I think that would be fun as hell.
We should.
That'd be fun. I don't know how many we've got left. Maybe,
Save one for me. I'll be the first customer.
But yeah,
I'm ready for my bell.
So what went into consideration when you were developing Vibe number 5? Also, by the way, excellent name. 5 has been my lucky number since I was in middle school. So
really
it thrills me. Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, when I first started EngErotics, for those of you guys out there who don't know, EngErotics is short for Engineered Erotics. When I first started EngErotics, I was so for sure that I was going to come out of the gate developing new concepts, because I had a lot of ideas then. I still have a lot of ideas now. We all do. People have pitched us their ideas, as all three of you know. But I was like, man, I got so many awesome ideas, because I'm an engineer. That's I went to 2 degrees in engineering from CU Boulder, know a lot of other engineers, and it's that's what we do. We solve problems and we create new stuff, just the types of things that I did in my career, just on a different wavelength. So I thought that we were going to be doing that. And I had all kinds of ideas. And then I realized bringing a product from concept to market ain't no joke. You need a lot of time, you need a lot of tenacity, a lot of money, a lot of money, more time, more tenacity, even more money. You probably won't have the money. Guess what? You need to link up with people who have money. You've got to raise money. You have to find investors. I'm like, shit, I don't know anything about that. And I was really grumpy about it. I'm like, this is going to take forever. I'm going to be working on this. And we've met people, Heather, we've met people as we've gone through our journey, that were, just barely got their ideas off the ground, or still getting their ideas off the ground. And so I decided to start with what I know, which is engineering, internal engineering more specifically. And basically it talks about, internal engineering says, okay, cool. You can have two designs that look virtually identical, or maybe they are identical on the outside. But can you optimize the inside? Can you engineer the internals? Can you design the internals in such a way that it's going to outperform its competition? And the answer is yes. And we know that this is true for every other industry. I don't know if people think about that so much in the world of intimacy devices, because you can have two bullets. They look exactly the same. One might conk out on you in a month's time, and the other might, last 2 years. Why? It's because the one that lasts 2 years is better designed. So I started there, started talking to factories, interviewing factories. Again, didn't know any factories. I was just reaching out to people, blah, 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 seeing what everybody did, requesting samples, seeing what I might want to start with. And then I started having that conversation like, hey, I really needed to do this. Like, what can we do? Is this an option? Like what? And it was just very like simple stuff, like just very simple stuff. Not anything like cutting edge or groundbreaking, just like very simple stuff. Like, hey, I need to make sure that, the O-ring around the thing is going to be, because the sample you sent me is kind of loose, and, just things like that. And that's really how we started. That's really how I started. Rather than like bringing something, to the fore that the world has never seen before, just like keeping it basic. I'm like, well, maybe we just want to make people's bullets work better. So
nice.
But y'all already knew that.
How different was the industry in 2016 compared to how it is now?
I mean, everybody chime in here, because I think everybody's going to have a different perspective. Are you talking about for intimacy devices or sex tech or CBD?
In general, whatever you want to touch on.
Okay. I feel like sex tech was still like, it was still new. It was still a very new concept. I had just learned about it, but it hadn't really taken off in the way that it has in the past 5 years. I don't recall seeing any sex tech conferences or anything like that. Certainly people were not really using CBD for sexual wellness. Like the focus was on curing whatever ails you, pain, whatever. And I don't think that and I mean, this is still true to some extent, but the greater pleasure product industry and the world of sex tech were still very apart. I don't think that anybody in the greater pleasure product industry really knew anything about sex tech. And I want to say vice versa, but that's not entirely true. Sex tech exists to fill those gaps in the greater pleasure product industry, but also folks over here in sex tech are not necessarily plugged into all of the, like, what's mainstream in the greater pleasure product industry. What do you guys think? Jackie, you've been in the industry for a hot minute. So
the first thing that I thought about is in 2016, where I lived, and that was Florida, CBD was still pretty taboo. Like I don't even think we carried it in the chain of stores that I worked for until at least 3 to 4 years later. And it was only a very few things. But one of the things I remember from 2016 was like the burgeoning industry of teledildonics, which was like the sex toys that operate via Bluetooth or like apps or whatever. Like that was like brand new and like just getting started. So that was my only knowledge really of sex tech.
Yeah. And there was like a big thing around there was a patent. I think I'm going to butcher this because it just now came to mind because I hadn't heard the term teledildonics in quite some time, but there was a patent involved and nobody else could really explore, teledildonics until the patent expired. Something like that. I'm going to have to look it up and refresh myself, but I vaguely remember reading about that as I was doing whatever due diligence I was doing in starting products. Amanda, Heather, what do you think? Did you guys notice any differences? And
I mean, my experience was pretty different because I didn't originally come from the world of sex tech. I came from the tech world. And so I didn't really have a good handle on it until I really joined EngErotics. I mean, I was interested in the community just for personal reasons. But that's very different than actually analyzing things to propel a business forward and bring new products to market. So I don't know that I can really speak that well on the differences between what used to exist between what we're doing now. I can speak a lot to what we're doing now. But things were just, I feel like, quieter. Things were done not as much on a public stage. You couldn't, I don't remember ever going into like intimacy devices on store shelves back 10 years ago.
Oh yeah,
We
yeah,
had to go to specialty stores, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
oh yeah. They're all over now.
Yeah,
Like,
and it
you
was
can
still
go anywhere.
right. I mean, I was at Target. Target had some, like all these mainstream places are carrying pleasure products now, which is great. I feel like we're talking about it more rather than the seedy store in the back alley that nobody really wants to be seen visiting. So I really like that. I think that the educational component, and Amanda, I'm sure you can speak a lot more to that too. But the educational component and the willingness to discuss a taboo topic has really changed a lot.
Yeah, I would agree with that, especially with, I mean, even just the one topic of CBD, I don't think I know it wasn't as mainstream as it is now. Especially like I lived in rural North Carolina, where cannabis is still federally illegal. I felt like you can't even say the word without going straight.
They'll take you to jail if you say the word. They'll take you to jail.
Yeah. And so, CBD, I remember when that was just coming out, that was a big thing. And that was years after 2016. So I would agree.
Yeah.
So how did EngErotics get in to make the leap from sex tech to CBD bath stuff?
Okay. So this happened in the EngErotics community, and I can't remember who it was. And this was before the algorithm was trash. It was like during the heyday of like, oh, the algorithm was going to show you the things you wanted to see. Somebody in the group, which has been archived, by the way, so you can find it. You cannot join it. Maybe I'll reopen it if times get better. I have no idea. But somebody dropped a comment in the community and they said, hey, Raven, what do you know about weed lube? That was the verbiage, weed lube. And I was like, well, not a damn thing, because at the time I was working for this company and they did, they worked on contracts for, I think like government contracts and stuff like that, in addition to private companies. Anyway, they did randoms. Oddly enough, I never got a random drug test. They never asked me to participate in a random at all. I'm like, I could have been smoking my ass off the whole time. But it wasn't anything that I touched because I didn't want to lose my job. I'm like, okay, knowing my luck, I'm going to like have a little puff or whatever edible, and then I'm going to have to pee like the following morning. So I didn't know anything. I wasn't using it recreationally. I wasn't using it for intimacy. But I know who did. Like I had friends who knew all about that. And so I started asking around. And that's how we found our first, what do you call them, business partners? They were like informal business partners. I had known this person for some time, and it was essentially like partnering up with that dude who sold weed back in the day, smoked weed back in the day, because there was a lot of that in the cannabis industry. There were a lot of people that were like, people that were doing illegal shit back in the day that are trying to go legit. Like that was essentially what it is. But anyway, so I did some asking around. I just asked people who were in the industry who knew. So I talked to one person and then another who were very deeply involved in the cannabis industry. And I'm not going to mention them because I don't know if they want to be mentioned. So I didn't know I was going to be telling this story, but, they were like, yeah, there's opening here, because this isn't really offered widely. Now at the time, Euphoria was like, they broke through like, THC infused personal lubricant. That's what it was. So Raven, what do you know about weed lube? I'm like, I don't know, but let me find out. And I came back to the EngErotics group and I said, this is what I learned. about what it can do. You know, I don't know about this firsthand because, you know, corporate America, blah, 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 don't want to lose my job. But then it turned into like, well, how come EngErotics doesn't work on this? Because there were a lot of parallels between the gaps in regulation and safety for intimacy devices and the same for CBD. So it's like going back to why I founded the company. One of the things I didn't say at the start of the show was I noticed that there was a lack of QA/QC standards, design guidelines, things like that, that held manufacturers accountable for safety, efficacy, quality. So that's true in the world of intimacy devices, also true in the world of CBD. Well, it's gotten better, but back then, this is 2017, I guess.
The Wild West.
Yeah, it was the Wild West. People were like, you know, using their magical butter machines and, you know, funneling it into a bottle and calling it a day, that sort of thing. But yeah, it started in the EngErotics group. It was like somebody was like, hey, Raven, what do you know about this? I'm like, not a damn thing. Let me find out.
And so the first CBD product we made was the oil.
No, wait.
Okay.
Was it an oil?
I don't know. I have no
it was the
idea. I was just
plastic.
doing.
I have to
logics.
I've got to think really, really far back. I got to think really
it was
far
the
back.
salve stick, the
Actually,
original.
No.
Well, okay, it wasn't always a stick though, but it was that was the base concept. Was what has turned into our current salve stick. It didn't always look like it does.
Actually, I have a buried memory. I think, Heather, do you remember some clear bottles of oil? Do you remember that? Because if you don't, it was so this was pre-Heather. Okay, this was pre the golden age. So so the people I was working with at the time, they said, hey, we've got some ideas, but we don't know how to get it out there. And we don't know how to make it better, but let's talk and let's work together to see if we can get it out to the masses. There were two things that I got from them. I got several clear bottles of CBD using distillate. So it was CBD distillate infused oil. And when I say oil, it was distillate and fractionated coconut oil. It was a lubricant. Big air quotes, you know, so nobody sue me or anything. I think that was one of the first things that we dabbled in. But then also we had these little pots of what would later become the soothing salve stick. We had these little pots and they were kind of funky. They had like that herby, that earthy, herbal, like cannabis, because it was distillate. There's probably there are pictures of it somewhere in the group. But that it wasn't the salve stick. Like we didn't even have a stick. We had like these bottles of oil and we had this, you know, the person I was working with, like, oh, I got a body butter. And it really wasn't, it was a salve. So we had a couple of prototypes, one that we didn't run with, and the other that later became the stick that everybody knows. Now, those two formulations aren't the same. I want to make that clear. Like there were a lot of, you know, like, why doesn't our soothing salve stick stink like, you know, like back in the day? The formulation changed quite a bit. But yeah, we had two very, very crude prototypes that worked. One worked well and the other really didn't. The oil really didn't do what I was hoping it to do, because I believe I handed it out to people. I think that's what I did. The salve that was in the jar, that worked really well, and we ran with that. And that was all before Heather. You were just a spectator. Heather came on board because I got in the group and I did a Facebook Live where I was crying about one of our production runs going south, like legit tears, because I had collected money. Okay, that's how I funded the damn project. I'm just like brokenhearted, didn't know what to do. But anyway, like, you know, Heather came in to, like, you know, dry my tears. That's what happened. And that's what happened.
How did we make the jump from the pot, the pot of salve to the stick?
I think that was Alicia. I think that was Alicia's suggestion. so we mailed these, correct me if I'm wrong, Heather, because this was such a long time ago. But I think she was the one that was like, this is really solid. If we poured it into like a tube or something and you twisted it up like a deodorant, this would be amazing. And so that's what we did. It wasn't my idea, I can tell you that. I didn't think of that at all.
Yeah, and when I came on board, you had just started putting them into tubes, but there were a lot of issues with both the packaging and the formulation, and it wasn't stable. A lot of issues. And so I came on, and now we have 6 different varieties of salve stick, and we resolved all of those issues.
Couldn't have done it without you. Could not have done it without you, because like the people, like, and honestly, this is not to like shit on anybody. I mean, my business relationship with these people did not work out, because I'm going to tell you, like, sometimes people do some foul stuff and they don't want you to know that they're up to something foul. And then you find out that something's happening. And then they get mad at you. The reality is like, Heather, right before you, I was trying to find somebody with formulation experience who knew about this. And I did find somebody. And really what happened was I found this person with a great skill set. The people that I thought that I'd partnered with was like, oh, well, maybe we can have some of that too. And we'll just have, her work in I think I told you this whole thing. And the idea was like, well, we're just going to have her work in our facility and, blah, 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 blah. Like, it was essentially kind of a backdoor way to own proprietary information. Anything that flowed into my company had to flow to them first. And I didn't like that. So I parted ways with all of them, and we were in the middle of like, because that's how I funded the project. I collected money. Like, people trusted me. They were giving me money. We were doing pre-sales for, I want to say, Heather, you were on board for one of the pre-sales. I think we did pre-sales for maybe the first 3 runs. We were bankrolling the cost of the raw materials, cost of the manufacturing. We were bankrolling that all up front. All up front and straight out of the EngErotics community, via a Google form, no less. We didn't have a functional website. So that was wild. That was some wild times.
That is crazy to think about.
And then answer the question.
I don't even need. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And then like throughout these last 10 years, we had like smack in the middle of it, the pandemic and the quarantine time. How did that affect what EngErotics did here?
We made some money.
Yeah, the lockdown was overall really good for sales because people were staying at home and looking for things to do. So like that was a very, very lucrative period, but I remember being so stressed out because we had all of our products are packaged in plastic. Okay. That's intentional. For better or for worse, they're packaged in plastic. All of the factories that make the plastic that our products go into switched to making PPE, as they should, mind you. I'm glad that those factories went and stepped up for this global pandemic. Getting packaging was so stressful. We would sell product and not be able to restock it because we couldn't get the packaging. I was sourcing from all over the world, different vendors, different factories, seeing who had a particular bottle left. Was there 20 left in their back room? We will take whatever you've got, that sort of thing. So that was incredibly stressful. But I think we only had one product that was actually out of stock for any sort of extended period of time. But we had to pivot a lot. But it was also a really good opportunity to try these different packages, different packaging options that maybe we wouldn't have otherwise tried, because we had vendors that we really liked, that we had good relationships with, that we still have good relationships with, but they didn't have what we needed. So we were trying different options, and it was frustrating to put a known product into a new packaging and saying, well, I hope it works. I hope the dimensions are right. I hope the labels fit. Knowing that if it's off by 1/8 of an ounce, that could affect the final product, things like that. That was so stressful, so stressful.
That sounds terrible.
Heather, was 20, so the pandemic started in 2020. Was that the year that we did Quad S?
Oh
When
gosh,
was it in Denver? Because that's when we met Amanda. And so
it was, yeah.
Did we do, that was 2020?
I don't know if that was 2020. I was thinking that was later. I remember because with the pandemic, we were in Las Vegas. And I remember that we were neighbors next to a supplier, a vendor from China, and they were not able to fly in.
They did not show up. They did not show up. And people were like, there was like, it wasn't a big conversation. We were at USA CBD Expo that year. That was our first major trade show. Man, I was shitting bricks because EngErotics couldn't afford. We didn't have, I think I paid like, I don't know, $3,000, $5,000 for this booth, and then more money for my hotel room, Heather's hotel. And it wasn't even just Heather. It was me and my spouse and Heather and her spouse, the four of us. So putting all of us up in a hotel, all of that stuff, I remember I was just shitting bricks because, you know, I had the money in the personal reserves, but I was like, man, I don't know if this is going to work. That was the year we won our first product award. But, you know, at the trade show, I remember, you know, the pandemic wasn't the pandemic. People were like, there were whisperings and kind of hushed conversations about a virus. I remember that, like, you know, a virus, you know, like, oh, were you worried about getting sick? Do you know anybody who's gotten sick? I'm amazed that we didn't get sick, Heather. I don't know, like, because by that time we were there on Valentine's Day. So it was like Valentine's Day,
close.
2020. We barely made it because I remember by March, early March, that was like when the world shut down. And so I don't know, like, how we did it. I had such a great time. We had a lot of fun. But man, I was so nervous, not because like of the virus, which we, you know, we weren't calling it COVID. I think everybody was like talking about coronavirus. I think it was like coronavirus, and we weren't calling it COVID yet, but yeah. So that 2020, we were in Las Vegas. Maybe it was 2021 when we met. I don't remember, but we met Amanda.
I was going to ask. Yeah, I want to know Amanda's origin story because I just assumed Amanda has always been here.
No, no,
I haven't.
Amanda, you tell it from your perspective because I know what it was like for us to meet you. Like what did you see? Like,
I don't know if. I know we met through Quad S, but I remember you met one of my mentors, Dr.
Knox.
Yes, love him. He honestly got me to where I am today because when I first started college, I was a biology major thinking I was going to work with animals. And I learned very quickly I had to take a lot of chemistry classes, and that was not gonna work. But I ended up taking an elective course, which I thought was just going to be a fun elective called Courtship and Marriage. That was taught by Dr. Knox, and that introduced me to the world of human sexuality. So I definitely owe Dr. Knox where I am today. Because I remember after class, like walking up to him and being like, oh my God, this is an academic field that like I can study and learn more about. And he's like, yeah. And so took me under my wing. Quad S happened. I know he met you guys, and I remember we got coffee once everyone got back to Denver.
Yeah.
And I guess you guys liked me. So
here it was like, and we came to your presentation with Dr. Knox. We were sitting in the audience listening to both of you speak. Dr. Knox, like, you know, he came to our table. He was telling us all about how he was writing a new textbook or whatever, but he purchased several items and then he brought one of his colleagues. And for those of you who don't know, I've been taught like Quad S. quad S is SSSS, 4 S's, hence the quad S. And that stands for the Society for the Scientific Study of Sexuality. And EngErotics had a table there. And this is not a large trade show. So for those of you who are familiar with like the XBizes of the world, or, USA CBD Expo in the big hall, this wasn't that. We were like in the foyer, like in front of the grand ballroom with there weren't very many vendors. That's the other thing about academic conferences. Like, it's not a sea of vendors. It's a curated collection of a few. And so we were there for 3 days. We were at the table from 7 to 5 for 3 days. Well, breaks in between and going to talks. But I can't remember if Dr. Knox introduced you to us or if you wandered up on your own. I want to say that Dr. Knox maybe introduction.
Yeah, because I do remember getting coffee after, because we just weren't able to talk or whatever have it. So yeah.
We decided that we wanted to stay in touch because, you were telling us about all the research you were doing. And I was like, yeah. And Heather was like, yeah. And we went out to coffee somewhere in Denver. And I want to say it was close-ish to DU, somewhere in that area.
Oh, that's funny, because that was before I started working at DU. So
it wasn't on my side of town. And I know it wasn't on Heather's side of town.
Actually, I picked the coffee shop. It was kind of in the middle. And so, yeah, it was over by DU.
Yeah. See? Yeah. And so because Heather and I talked about you a lot, and I just remember being really impressed with your work and what you were doing. I was so glad to have met you. Heather felt the same.
I don't even think my research was published yet.
It wasn't.
I conducted my study, but it wasn't published in a journal yet. I was a baby. I was a fetus.
I just know that I believed deeply in what you were doing. And I was like, I don't know if she'll join us, because, we weren't anywhere close to being 10, it's 2026. So it was I don't know, 5-6 years ago, maybe somewhere in there, 2019, 2020, 2021, somewhere in there. Amanda, you happened. But I just remember feeling man, I wonder if she would work with us. I wonder if she believes in what we're doing. Because it was EngErotics has been primarily bootstrapped. We're not a multi-million-dollar company. Place orders, y'all. Every order counts. There's my little mid-show commercial. But yeah, I just remember being so fascinated. I was like, this is fascinating. And I was really impressed.
Well, we had talked about needing someone with that type of expertise on the team for quite some time.
Yeah.
Because, we've got a lot of really great products, but we were running into a lot of folks who didn't know how to use them and didn't know what they were looking at, why they would want to look at it, what makes it special. And so, Amanda, with your research background, and you've taught me so much through all of your educational articles and just our conversations. And it's amazing. It's so enlightening, and realizing that there are a lot more options and a lot more variety in life. And
yeah,
so it's been amazing.
Thank you.
Do you think the 2016 version of you would be happy with how things are now?
Yes.
Oh yeah, she'd be so proud of all the things she has done, all the dreams that she's always wished for.
I think that 2016 Raven would definitely be really, really happy and proud. People saw something in the concept of EngErotics and in me as a founder. I didn't see it, but I had a lot of people telling me this is brilliant. This is going to be a thing. And I was like, I don't know. I'm just working on this, during the time that I was working my 9 to 5, I was working on EngErotics at night and on the weekends. And that changed when I quit my job. I was taking a break, of course. I thought I was just taking a break. But, 2016 Raven definitely didn't she didn't give herself enough credit. Other people saw like something that she did not. And it still blows me away to this day that like, because from jump, it wasn't just me. It was not just me. Before Heather, it was like, well, Alicia, she called me up and she told me she was going to be a part of it. She said, I'm a part of this. There was no, like, she didn't ask. She told me, she's like, I'm going to be your chemical engineer. That's it. And that's all. I'm like, okay. She's like, all right, bye. Okay. I had somebody who was ready and willing to do the first iteration of the website. My husband has always cheered me on. Like, he said, well, if you're going to start a company, I get to be the CTO. I'm like, okay, he's in computer science and cybersecurity. So that's fitting. But there were always people who believed, who wanted to be a part of it. I was like, it hasn't even become a thing. So yeah, it's just wild to think about that because I had just turned 30.
10 years is a long time.
Yeah. I was a new mom. I had this baby. I didn't.
You had two babies. You had a baby in the company.
Yeah. Oh, well, yes, I did. I was like thinking about the physical baby. Yeah. Like EngErotics is like, I birthed EngErotics. I'm just so grateful. Like, and we've put up with a lot of shit. We've gone through a lot of shit. I mean, I feel like outside of the, all of the wins and stuff, like we've gone through a lot of shit to get here. Like, we've had people that have tried to steal our formulations, swindle us out of our formulations. We've had people, and when I say people, I definitely mean men, who have told us that they don't really see the point in focusing on women's pleasure, or have told us, like I know how to run this company better than you do. I'll never forget when I announced the name, like I'm going to call this thing EngErotics. That was the thing. I did a Facebook post about it. I'm going to call it EngErotics, and it's short for Engineered Erotics. And this is what it is. And I didn't even have a logo or a trademark yet, but this is what it is. And there was a guy who slid into the DMs quietly, privately, because obviously he didn't really think he could post this publicly. He had to come whisper it in the DMs. And, well, as a marketing person, I'm not really sold on EngErotics. And then he gave me like, a number of other options, like, sensual erotics, what's some other, bullshit. But I'm not really sold on the name because I'm not sure how to pronounce it. That's basically what it is. Like, I'm looking at this and I don't know.
That is such like a male selfish thing. Like, I don't like this name because it makes you feel dumb.
Say it. Now, listen. Now, ladies, whether like I'm talking to all the ladies out there and some of the men too that love them some designers. Okay. All right. Like, and I'm a butcher some of these, but Givenchy and Yves Saint Laurent.
The first thing that came to mind was Hermes. Like,
Hermes.
That was a Hermes to me when I was a kid.
But even like beyond designers, let's talk about, authors and composers, like Tchaikovsky.
Mm-hmm.
Dostoevsky. I can never say that name correctly, but you know what I'm saying. Like all of the pieces of art, the designers, the clothing, the cars that we enjoy, the foods that we enjoy, that are not necessarily easy to pronounce. That doesn't stop us from eating them, wearing them, driving them.
Yep.
And am I back? What happened?
Yeah, you're here.
Are you guys back? Did that happen to you?
We're good.
Was that an X-Files missing time thing?
No.
Yeah, because everything went blank. And that's essentially what I told him. I was like, listen, people know how to say this, and this designer, this composer, blah, 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 blah. They can learn how to say EngErotics too. And on top of that, EngErotics is an engineering company. Engineering is a field of study in which you need to pause and think and figure out, and it challenges you. And I think it's fitting that the name of the company that I'm founding, should do the same. And do you know, I never got a response. I never got a response. He never. I'm gonna put that on Instagram. I'm gonna like put it like on like do the green thing, and I'm gonna like slide in and do my little commentary. But I've never forgotten that. I've never forgotten it, and we've been through so much of that.
We're nearing the end of our time, but one of the things I think that makes EngErotics so like special is the customers. Do you have like any fun customer stories, or like, I don't know, any good feedback? Or like, our customers are special. They make up a big part of our community. I just wanted to give them a little bit of love too.
Yeah.
Somebody else did well, I think.
Please. So 100%, all of our CBD body care products came to life because of customer request and feedback. So that's, I mean, there's a lot of things that didn't necessarily make sense to me, or that weren't, didn't really work well with what I was envisioning, but they work. And so we really rely on our customers. They are amazing. They give us ideas, and we bring to life things that are based off of real wants and needs. So yes, our customers are everything.
That's great.
Also, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Raven. I know that we're running short on time, but I wanted to call out that Jackie over here has been kind of amazing and not saying much about her role in the company.
Yeah,
this is embarrassing.
Listen, it's not embarrassing. We can go an extra 5 minutes for this, because
I'm so bad at talking about myself. I forget everything good that I've ever done, and I can only remember like what I did 2 seconds ago.
Okay,
my brain is so dumb.
Let me tell you all about Jackie. Because Jackie and I, we met in P3, right? And that was like, we met in P3.
You were like a mini celebrity to me for like a little bit. You were like, oh, I was like, this lady is so cool. Like, it would be so amazing to work with her. And now look what we're doing.
I just, I was just like really blown away. Like I've never forgotten when you interviewed with me, and I was just so happy that you felt comfortable enough and safe enough to interview with me authentically. And, Jackie, you brought like one of your favorite Squishmallows.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I recognized, what that was about, because by that time I had a little experience under my belt being a parent, not to like compare you to a child, but it reminded me of like, when my children or one of their peers needs comfort, it reminds me of myself, like when I'm like, I need comfort. And, and so I was not like, I didn't want to like pry or anything, but it was like, there were like the subtle cues, and, it's like, man, it seems like she's working really hard to like make eye contact here. Like,
True.
And it was like, it was a really good experience. But I mean, really what sealed the deal for me was like the blog that you wrote after the interview. And it just like, I didn't know that anybody felt that way about interviewing with me. I didn't know that just like being like a decent human being in an interview was like enough to write a blog about. And I thought it was so sweet. And I showed my husband, and I was like, I just interviewed this woman, and I just like, I don't even know what to say. It made me tear up, if I'm being honest. Like, I just didn't really know like how to respond. So I sent Jackie a Squishmallow.
Yes.
So I didn't really know how to express my gratitude in words. So I like spoke a language that I knew Jackie would appreciate and understand. I'm like, well, I hope she doesn't have this one already. So let me.
I always have a stuffed animal near me right now.
What's today's? Yes.
Well, this is Larry the pool sloth.
Hey.
Okay.
He is lovely.
Yeah, he used when we lived in Florida, he would be the one I would bring out to the pool with me, but we don't have a pool here in Michigan, so he's my desk guy.
I love it.
Normally, like, I still have stuff packed up from when we were going to move, but normally I also have Bertram. He's like a little plaid bear, and he's like my business stuffy. Like he takes care of all the paperwork for whenever we get a new stuffy. Like, he has a very big role in the household.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, like meeting you, Jackie, was just like, it was a breath of fresh air. And of course, like I said, we met in P3. And so
Mhm.
and I feel like again, this was like things were different in P3 because P3 is a pandemic group, remember?
Yes.
So there were a lot of people that I had the pleasure of meeting and getting to know and connecting with that I wouldn't have otherwise been connected with if not for P3 on Facebook.
Mhm.
And I feel like it was different. I'm going to go ahead and say that publicly. I feel like the vibe was a lot different
Agreed.
back in those days than it is now.
It
And
felt like it was more about connecting and less about posturing.
yeah, I would agree. I would agree. And I mean, I'm happy that it's helpful, to some capacity, but it really like just was not, it was a lot different. Like when it first like kicked off and people were really like holding each other up during the pandemic and this, that, and the other. And I got dropped in there by JB at System Joe. Like he used to be at El Dorado. Shout out JB. Yeah. And I've never forgotten his kindness either, because he surely, when I met him, he saw a lot of people coming through El Dorado talking about, I'm going to start a company, and he'd never hear from them again. But of course, he heard from me again. And so he would be like, Raven is the real deal. Like, and I'm like, I am, so yeah. So yeah. So that's the Jackie origin story. And Jackie, you may not want to sing your own praises, but I'm going to sing them. Every piece of art, the graphic, the happy birthday EngErotics graphic that I've been posting, not my graphic. That's definitely Jackie's.
I'm also very grateful that we spent a summer watching P-Valley together. That was very exciting and fun.
Oh my gosh.
Season 3 is supposed to be coming out this year sometime, and I am waiting. Yes.
I don't know. I don't appreciate them playing with my emotions.
I'm so ready because season 2 was so heartbreaking.
It was.
And I need my heart put back together with season 3, please.
I don't know if my mom has recovered. She's like, I don't know if I can do another season of this.
Not if it's that rough. Like, I need to know that Mississippi's okay. I need to know everything is good.
We need to know.
I need an update on Little Murda.
We need to know. But yeah, I'm just like, I'm so it's really surreal. We've been in business for 10 years, primarily bootstrapped, and like, so everybody on this screen, y'all, everybody on this screen owns equity. Okay. And I've been stingy as fuck with my equity. I still own the majority share of the company. So I'm still in the driver's seat.
As you should.
Yeah. It's like, otherwise it's got to stay, black owned, but there were a number of opportunities that presented themselves like, hey, well, maybe we can talk some, money equity exchange, and not all money is good money. It's just really surreal to know that, whether we're making money or not, whether like orders are coming in or not, we're still functioning. Like, how many companies have folded along the way? Like,
oh yeah,
a lot. So yeah, I'm really thankful for that.
Do we have any goals for the next 10 years?
Yes. Yes, I have a big one, but I'm not ready to share it. I have a big one. There's a big one.
One of the things that I've been much better about in the last 10 years is using, I'm not a woo-woo person, but I do believe in manifesting. I do morning pages every morning, but the first thing I do every morning is I wake up and I write a full page of whatever's in my brain. Sometimes it's just woohoo, yeehaw, and all that. Literally, that's all I write. But a lot of times I'll put stuff in there that I think is ridiculous. And then 6 months to a year, I see the fruits of that labor. So like, throw shit out there in the universe. What do we want in the next 10 years?
I mean, I'm going to keep mine to myself. But it goes above and beyond where we've been. I will just say that I envision the company beating the odds in a major way. But I'm going to just put it like that.
All right. Fair enough. I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. How about you guys with the last minute or two?
I mean, my number one goal is to continue living here in Detroit and growing more of my own food, because I harvested my first peas last week and I have never known a pea to taste this good. And it was the same way with tomatoes last year. Like the grocery store food is thumbs down for me now. I want to grow all of my own food and I have the space to do that. So I'm going to do that.
Amanda, you have a hard stop at 2 p.m. So what's yours?
I'm just going to keep on keeping on. I love what we're doing, and I know that we're going to keep growing.
All right. Well, girl, go do your thing, because it's 2 right now. So.
All right. I'll see you guys later.
All right. Bye.
Happy birthday.
All right. Heather, anything from you, or do you want me to just outro and peace out?
Just a little thoughts is just keep rolling with the punches. It's been a wild ride and nothing is the way I expected it to be. But I'm kind of excited, and everything is a journey and a learning opportunity, and just got to take it as it comes.
Absolutely. Well said.
Yeah. All right. Turns out a decade can go by pretty fast. 10 years of products, education, community, and a whole lot of conversations that help make pleasure a little less awkward. Thank you to everyone who supported EngErotics over the years. Whether you've been here since the Google Forums days or you found us yesterday, we're really glad you're here. Go throw on your favorite 2016 playlist. Try to skip like the this guy's name just flew right out of my mind as I was making the joke. Try to leave out the Drake, please. Celebrate something you've built and maybe treat yourself to something nice from EngErotics.com. Here's to the next 10 years. Cheers. All right, bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Like, I literally just looked at Drake's name and it just flew out of my brain.
We still live?
No,
We're still live.